All right, all right, all right. Wanted to get started here, and I wanted to definitely put out there that really check into Endure Entertainment. You can find it from my Facebook. It's on YouTube. I'll put up some links here in a little bit. But also, I wanted to put up for the commercial here at the very beginning is I want to say that I'm sponsored by uh, Minister Corey Thomas in his book here. Because really, the reason I'm here, even doing this, is because of people like Corey in my life who have made a real positive influence, and that's really more to me than any type of money can ever buy. So let me run this real quick, and I'll be right back.
Author Evangelist Corey Thomas, a dedicated servant leader whose weapons are spiritual in nature and volatile in impact. Hot off the press, author Evangelist Corey Thomas's new book, Sound Advice, Music and the Battle for Your Mind, Body, and Soul. Matthew 5:13, ye are the salt of the earth, but if the salt has lost his flavor, wherewith shall it be salted? It's author Evangelist Corey Thomas's new book, Sound Advice, Music and the Battle for Your Mind, Body, and Soul. Purchase your copy to help maintain that flavor in your spiritual walk. This book is epic. It's sold on every major online bookstore or go to CoreyThomasMinistries.com. I got my copy. Be sure to get yours. It's author Evangelist Corey Thomas's new book, Sound Advice, Music and the Battle for Your Mind, Body, and Soul. Get your copy today.
All right. Going from here, I want to get into a bunch of stuff tonight, and I'll go as quick as I can. This has been a week of chaos, from months of chaos, from years of chaos, and it keeps getting worse. So I really wanted to go over that tonight, and so I wanted to focus on being sober minded, and that's Peter 5:8, and also talk about some other things like. I know a lot of people have said to me lately that they're very curious as to why they would want to be a Christian, the hypocrisy of Christianity, and there's actually answers to that. Because I'll tell you, with a lot of the stuff that goes on, even around me, is I used to be completely wary of the church because it was more of a Jim and Tammy Faye Baker type deal, and especially really in the areas where I'm at in central Kentucky, is it's the height of prosperity, might as well say prosperity theology and stuff like that now is everybody's getting off track, and that's what it boils down to. And I'm not here to beat you over the head of the Bible, but I'm here to tell you what happened to me, where I come from, and all this. And the truth is I drank myself to death last year, right around the end of May, and I was dead in more ways than one. I did have to be resuscitated at 2 points. And by the end of it, I went home to, it's supposed to be the hospice care, but I fired them. I don't remember any of this, but my uh, best friend, and more than that, probably the most, well, yeah, definitely. Nurse Beth, definitely my favorite. She's just awesome. Um, said that I refused hospice care, which I really don't remember any of this, but she said that I just kept repeating, let him have his way. Now, I was not real cognitive during all of this. And again, I don't remember firing hospice. I don't remember saying, let him have his way. But I do remember when God lifted up this damaged soul and brought me back to life. It's really, it stayed on my mind the entire time because, people don't, or like to say, that I'm blasphemous or I cuss too much or something like that. And to them, I say it's bullshit. Because honestly, what we look at here and what we factually look at is these people who are asking for your money and saying, praise Jesus, and all the time stealing your wallet from your back pocket. Yeah, that's worse than trivial curse words, which it just depends. And I'm not going to go down that whole rabbit hole, but I'll say that context is a lot of what is misinterpreted. Like, for example, my dad would not curse, but when he was really, really ticked off about something, he'd say, "Oh, bear's foot," something like that. Well, that doesn't mean anything different than if you had a handy dandy curse word in there. And like I repeatedly say, I'd like to meet the person who came up with the idea of what words were curse words and which weren't. But that's not what tonight's about. So, to start this off properly, let's go to this one. This is Celebrate Recovery Daily Devotional 30-year anniversary. And I just, whenever I open these books, I just open them, and whatever page I land on is what I land on. And I'd say 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 times, let's say 9.99, it ends up that it's something that's important to that day or this day, whatever, if it's calming me down or, because really, man, my anxiety and stress is maxed out with um, everything that's going on right now, because it is, to me, it's a bunch of false witness and people regurgitating rhetoric from whatever news source they get, whatever their best friend tells them, whatever their parents tell them to believe. And if you sit here and you ask a lot of people, well, why are you a Democrat? Why are you a Republican? I guarantee nobody can give you a straight answer. In the most fanatical people, the people that really aren't sending people out like our ex-president said the other day, hey, it's time to lock and load. And then the next day, shortly after, this dude, about 45 minutes from where I'm at, goes and shoots up the FBI headquarters in Cincinnati. And why did he do that? Why? Because it's no different than the things that Jim Jones did. I mean, it's subliminal brainwashing. It's called, yeah, before I get into devotion, I'll do this real quick. All right. So what we get is we've got one person typically that spreads to two people that can become an infinitive. Hold on. I cut out. I have no idea why that cut out. Okay. Anyway, I'll keep going. Facebook cut out. So, that's the way it goes. All right. So, this one person that gets somebody to agree with him, and that person gets somebody to agree with him, and you got to understand this is a snowball effect. So, what we're creating there is it's group polarization, which describes, I'm reading you the proper definition of it. It describes how members of a group adopt more extreme positions than initial attitudes and actions of individual group members. This occurs because the collective involvement of group amplifies the individual attitudes and opinions, shifting them further and further in the direction of group norms. That leads to groupthink, which is a phenomenon that occurs when a group of well-intentioned people makes the irrational or non-optimal decision spurred by the urge to conform or the belief that dissonance is impossible. The problematic or premature consensus that this is characteristic of groupthink may be fueled by a particular agenda, or it might be due to group members valuing harmony and coherence above critical thought. So that means at the end right there that they just want to, be the puppets. I think I told somebody the other day that their nonsense just flatly reminded me of people. It's from an old movie, Pink Floyd, The Wall, that came out in the 70s. But you have all these people standing in line, children standing in line, and they're standing in line to willingly go through a meat grinder. And it's fitting to what's going on in the world right now. And I'll flat out say, I put this up on my Facebook earlier, along with the video that I'll read some lyrics from. But this whole mentality is just, it's, to me, it's borderline nuts. And again, I'm sorry I get scattered thoughts sometimes. But what was it? I was telling this lady the other day, something. Oh yeah, about the Pink Floyd video. And then we go from there. But where you get all these people believing one person or what one person says, and it spreads like that, you end up with this whole mess right now. And what I was going to say before is we're at an all time high right now for really such a fragile uh, racial divide right now again, and this is absolute regression. And beyond that, the hatred it's spreading to you know, the LBTYJ community, TG community. And more than that, I mean, we're losing the neodiversity that we once had. And I'm trying not to get into many big terms or something here to throw people off. But it's nobody's thinking for themselves. And what really surprises me the most is I was in a church about 2 years ago, and I was going through a faith-based rehab at the time. But I go to this church, and this is right before the election, and the pastor's up there, and he says, you need to. It's up to you to pick who you vote for. But if you're like me, you pick somebody that you can morally and ethically align with. Well, roundabout after all this spray of nonsense and bullshit, he says, I morally and ethically align myself with Donald J. Trump. I said, well, I got to go. And I walked out. I think I got in trouble for walking out. I don't even remember at this point. So with that said, let's do the devotion. Like I said, I turned to a page before I get too off track. All right. This is day 242 in the Celebration Recovery Daily Devotional. I have a story, and this starts 1 Peter 3:15. In your heart set apart Christ as Lord. Always be prepared to give an answer to everyone who asks you, to give them the reason for the hope that you have. But do this with gentleness and respect. Without exception, God has a unique story for each and every human being. For those of us that surrender our lives to Jesus Christ, that story takes on a whole new significance and power. That story from start to finish is our testimony, and throughout the New Testament, we are urged to share this with others. Because our story might draw someone to God who does not know him, it is an importance and an urgency outside of ourselves. But sharing our story also has significance in our own lives. It gives others hope to hear what has happened to us. It reminds us of the changes God has made in our lives. It lets people know that Celebrate Recovery is for more than just drug and alcohol issues, which I put this in there so much. So I'm going to stop on that for a second. I put this in there constantly, that it's also for mental health awareness, because almost all addictions come from a trauma, whether it's and I don't like calling them addictions, by the way. I say that to give it in layman's terms, but I like to, a friend of mine taught me that we're children of God who made some mistakes along the way. And that's better than the stigma of alcoholic addict. So you go that way, but the mental health issues are also very important here, because it wasn't, if it wasn't for me really, for Jesus digging me out of that hole that, or lifting me out of the pit, the ditch, whichever way you want to use it, and getting treatment through Christ, but also through therapy as well, because as my buddy Corey Thomas put up the other day, is you can still be a Christian and go to therapy. And if that's too much for you to swallow, or have something smarmy to say about, there's faith-based therapists and psychiatrists. I know there's plenty in Central Kentucky. I know there's a lot in North Carolina. To me, the only thing I don't recommend when you're going through this is a lot of people will fall into the trap of group therapy. And if that means a AA meeting, NA meeting, if it's keeping you sober, great, keep going. But that's also what you get trapped into, is the keep coming back mentality, that group is your idol. That's your worship. When you go into an AA, they say, pick a higher power of your choosing. And that power becomes what it's turned into now. And keep in mind, AA was established around 1929, somewhere around there. And I know of a phenomenon of these people that get into groupthink and polarization, and AA is truly their God. I know people who shake if they can't make it to a meeting. I caution of not going there. That's not the issue. I caution you of becoming addicted to another thing, such as a socialization or there's so many inherent, just dangerous to that. I do know that if you look at somebody going to a therapy of a therapist they grow to know and trust, and working through the root cause and effects of this disease of mental illness, that's about you can get up to about a 75% success rate there for remaining sober. And a lot of these stats come from people who had, for a fact, not gone to AA or NA meetings, which only draw you up to about a 25% chance of long-term sobriety. And that hedges on if you actually stay and go to all those meetings. So again, I don't think there's anything wrong with the meetings, but I think you need to check yourself as you go along with that process. I mean, and as I say that, there's also Celebrate Recovery out there, which is a lot of the fundamentals of AA as is, but it goes really in a more faith-based direction towards God and not the higher power of your choosing. Like in Kentucky, a lot of us often choose Ale8, which is a ginger ale that's only made in Kentucky. You can buy it at Cracker Barrel in North Carolina, and guess what? They don't sponsor me either. So getting back to that. So it gives us a way to invite others to attend church and celebrate recovery. It increases our sense of gratitude. It keeps us humble. It helps us maintain a good sense of balance as we remember who we are and, most importantly, where we come from. Sometimes it's difficult to find the words to describe what God has done for us. Writing it down can be a big help. I strongly agree. Keep a diary. No matter how we choose to do it, telling our stories is a wonderful way to thank God for what he has done for us. Thank you, and this is a prayer. Thank you, Father, for writing the story of my life. I will never forget what you've done for me. In Jesus' name, amen. And go figure, I don't believe in magic, but every time I just open that book and open it wherever, it works. I'm not seeking that way. It's like, much like the Bible, it's almost like a living book. It just kind of lands on whatever's going on at the time. Now, in getting to that, where let's go through 1 Peter 5:8 again real quick. Be sober-minded, alert. Your adversary, the devil, is prowling around like a roaring lion looking for anyone he can devour. Where does this fit in? So being sober isn't just, not having intoxication in your life and in your mind. Being sober-minded is literally think straight, to put it the most simple way I can. I know that I'm not sober because I decided to get sober, and I don't drink because I decided to stop drinking. And I'm certainly not sober from rehab or detox, and that's a very dangerous line they walk in the ones that I'm exposed to here personally right now in Kentucky. That there's a lot of them that'll get this idea that, okay, you get them in there, they're sick, you detox them, they do a 28-day program. You've not prepared these people to go forward in life, which you can through Christ, but you're not preparing these people to go forward in life, and they're coming out and guessing what? They're being hooked on Suboxone for a long period of time, which I don't disagree with Suboxone, but the way it's supposed to be used is for a 6 to 8 month period, a year at the most, with therapy, and let the doctor decide when to taper you down. It's not a prescription that's meant for everyday use for eternity. And I go through this every time, but my brother was on methadone and Suboxone for 20 years. I have other family who's been on it for over 12 years. And I'm sorry, that's irresponsible of the treatment center and or whatever doctor's involved and so on and so on. It's very irresponsible. You're trading an addiction for an addiction. People that argue with that with me, that's fine. Keep on keep on doing it your way. And that's the best I can say. And that's where people like to say I'm not humble. I am, because I used to be the guy who would say, man, I don't believe in that Christianity bullshit. Um, because realistically, man, at the time, there was so much going on that turned me off of the church in general. I mean, you go around this town that I'm from, and I can remember one time there was a guy running for mayor, and this was like right around 2001, maybe. Um, but anyway, it doesn't matter what his name was, but it was pretty well known that, he was not a straight man. And his pamphlet specifically had a picture of his wife and her kids and him on it. So one church around here had their flock go door to door to inform everybody that this man is a gay man, and his those aren't his children, and that's not his wife, and so on and so on. That's really truthfully a smear campaign and run on hate, because it's not our job to judge people and go around and just slaughter people. Now, had he done something phenomenally wrong to others, it might be a different story. Um, so you got to pick and choose on that. I know people around here get on me all the time for, if I know somebody's doing something inherently wrong, I'll say something. I'll say something to somebody else. I'll say, don't get mixed up with this person, and sometimes it's necessary. It really is necessary. I would say you pray on it first. And then if God's saying, don't be part of spreading this darkness across the land, or across the home, or across the town, or anywhere else, it's not worth it, because if you're a bystander and you just sit around saying, oh, they'll get better, this and that, or no, they've got all these good qualities. Sometimes you really have to sit there and be there 100% for God, and not for this mentality of forgive and forget everything. It's easy to forgive. I can forgive anybody, but that does not mean I'm going to be part of their process in hurting others. And that's a bottom line of it, period. And so when I say that, you've got to look right here and go, okay, man, this week, for example, what's happened? I mean, really, what's happened? Somebody gets caught up in a mess again. For what it is, it's the ex-president. And it immediately turns into, I was going through it today. His story has changed every single day this week. It has changed every time he gets caught up. He didn't expect them to unseal that warrant, because that's really never been done before. But, they did. I mean, that's the bottom line. And then it turned into, first it was nobody knew they were searching or raiding my property. And then it comes out that, yeah, he did. He knew the day before, and him and his family were all watching it on the security cameras from their cell phones. And, it keeps going from there. Well, then it comes down to, okay, Barack Obama took 33 million documents to Chicago. Those were processed through the National Archive and went to Chicago to stay in the National Archive. It's that easy, man. It doesn't take 5 minutes to sit there and look at something like that, or to look it up and go, okay, this is not true either. But how many times does it take? How many times does it take? Does somebody like me have to keep going to say, what is wrong with you all? And the more and more, I have friends of mine who say there's no way they'll go to church because of, the way Christians are pushing the politics right now with one side. And I'm like, I don't blame you. So what can we do in the process, those of us that don't get into this jibber jabber? What we can do is plant seeds. And I'm living proof of that. I mean, there is no way in this world. You can look at my Facebook. It's public. I've got the documents up there really that show my medical records, and show, even down to the fact where the doctor had talked to my sister and Nurse Beth about me not living. And nobody is supposed to come back from what I came back from. And anytime I speak, when people don't think I'm being an asshole, is, I do say it like it is it wasn't the rehab that saved me. It wasn't me fighting that saved me. It wasn't the doctors that saved me. It wasn't any kind of special medicine. It is Jesus lifted me up out of my bedroom floor when I had collapsed, couldn't walk, couldn't move, couldn't do anything except for pray for 2.5 hours. And from that day forward, I healed. So the impossible came possible. And that would be the rock that held me together, because it wasn't Goodlow, it was Jesus. And I can say that all day long. And you know what? I get accused of false testimony and so on and so on. And, I've got pictures all over my Facebook of me laying in a hospital bed dying. And let me just give you a visual here real quick.
Investigate Linda's case.
I said, what is going on here? Was she taking something to poison herself?
All right. That was me. And as you can see, that ring that was on this finger here, it won't fit this finger anymore. It barely goes on this one. And now I can't get it off. I went from 115 pounds to, as of yesterday at the doctor, I was 178. And it's amazing. And it's amazing the people that will come after you for envy on a story like mine. And I'll tell you what, I'm not envious of it at all. I wouldn't change it. And that's to be told for the truth it is why would I change it? I wouldn't have the relationship now that I have with God. And for some reason, I keep getting cut off Facebook, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you it's probably because somebody always reports me. And honestly, I don't really care anymore. That's the way it goes. If you say something that people don't like, because really the truth is a phenomenal adversary to a lot. And that's all right. So, and when I was getting into this week and thinking about everything that's gone on, and for the 6 years before that, I got to thinking about all sorts of stuff, and it's just the way I operate. And I thought back to, I remember Public Enemy I was introduced to from my friend James in 1989, and it was the Fear of a Black Planet album. And I'm showing my datedness. It was an awesome experience for me, because I went to a Catholic school. There were very few of us there, like me, who's a rebel. And I got really close to my friend Randall, who's a black guy, and my friend James, and a few others. And, this and KRS-One and Public Enemy kind of opened my eyes to like real world stuff out there, which was really cool. It was neat to learn. Granted, it grew me up before my time. But so later on, I think this is around 96, maybe, Public Enemy came out with the song "He Got Game" for the movie with Denzel Washington. And so this is Chuck D's lyrics verbatim here. If man is the father, the son is the center of the earth. I'm not going to try and rap it, because really I would trash it. In the middle of this universe, then why is this verse coming 6 times rehearsed? I don't freestyle much, but I write them like such. Amongst times controlled by the screen. Media, get it? What does it all mean, all the shit I'm saying? Human beings screaming vocal javelins. That's one of the best versions of this I've actually heard, because I didn't think about this till today. But we are throwing javelins at each other. I mean, that's just how it is. It really is. So, and here's the line I kept thinking of. I can't say the line before that. Sign of the locals unraveling. My word and self got wondering where Christ is in all this crisis. Hating Satan never knew what nice is. You really have to break that down and think about it. But again, the song is "He Got Game" by Public Enemy, from the "He Got Game" music soundtrack. So that sends me on a rabbit hole, which if y'all ever need any help getting into a rabbit hole, just give me a call, something. I'm sure I can help out with the inherent issues of it all, because I'm so terrible at it. But that is the way life goes sometimes. So getting back to it, Proverbs 19:9, a false witness shall not go unpunished, and he that speaks the lies shall perish as well. So we're spreading hate, regurgitating rhetoric, and you keep going on. So, and it really is Chuck Deeser right there said, all this got me wondering where Christ is in all this crisis. Um, he's there the whole time, and it's the rejection of Christ because, I'm seeing at these rallies, these signs, these flags that are peeling back and showing a Confederate flag. And then, these flags flying that say only God and Trump can save us now. Or there's another version that says only Trump and God can save us there. Listen, man, you're talking sacrilegious and you want to preach, be a preacher and take it seriously? No. Sorry. No bueno. Requiescat in pace. So I get worked up about it. And that's the way it goes. Sometimes I have to stop and breathe. I don't want to be like that preacher in Tennessee that's saying if you're a Democrat, you should die. That's a good preacher right there. Said nobody with a really God-driven life. Then that got me to Guns N' Roses of all things. In 1991, I can remember when the Use Your Aluminum. We might as well at this point. It seems fitting. So Use Your Illusion 1 and 2 albums came out. And, I never thought this song I never thought of it really. And it just stuck in my head today, and this was during a time when I was meditating and praying and stuff like that. And I'll read you some excerpts from this and, form your own decision. Man, tonight's one of those nights. Form your own decisions on what you like or don't like about it. And I just implore you to go just listen to these two, He Got Game and Civil War. So this one in particular stood out to me. It says, look at the hate we're breeding. Look at the fear we're feeding. Look at the lives we're leading the way we've always done before. So this is true. We're repeating the past, and you're condemned to live in the past at this point. If you don't have a study of history, because we're turning to Facebook and whatever, Twitter, social media, Fox News, Breitbart, CNN, you can keep going, man, and you're going to run up and end up in the same circle you were in before. So, and the more and more it happens is what happened to history books, encyclopedias, what happened to doing your own research. The most simple things is even blaming Biden for these present gas prices. I know I say this a lot, but it's global market pricing. Biden is not at fault. If you look at it, Trump's last year in office, the gas prices rose 30%. When Biden took over, it was 16%. These are actual facts, not somebody sitting there saying on Facebook and putting those stickers on the gas pumps that go Brandon or thanks Brandon or whatever it is. I don't even know where that came from. That shows you how much I care about the stupidity of it all. So when you go from there, and this is from Axl Rose, or West Axl Rose, as he was known then. He says, my hands are tied, the billions shift from side to side, and the wars go on with the brainwashed pride for the love of God and our human rights. Are all these things swept aside by bloody hands time can't deny, and are washed away by your genocide? And history hides the lies of our civil wars, which is absolutely true. And this will be the last one I read from this because it goes into fitting. And I wrote this on my Facebook today. I didn't write it, but I put the video of it up with the lyrics and told people, turn off the volume if you don't like it, but read the words. It says, do you wear a black armband when they shot the man who said peace could last forever? And in my first memories, they shot Kennedy. This sounds like spoken word. Sorry. I went numb when I learned to see. So I never fell for Vietnam. We got the wall of DC to remind us all that you can't trust freedom when it's not in your hands, when everybody's fighting for their own promised land. It's true. we can't have any peace. And I go back, and I've been studying a lot of history, especially this semester. And like I say, it took me, and what I wrote my final on is the Tulsa race massacre of 1921, May 1921. And I just would say go back and check into that yourselves. I know it was in no history books that I had ever been exposed to in school, either middle school, high school, my first time around in college. And, it's something that makes you say, and what I say is this is very strongly the truth. And it's not just coming from these blabbing lips. It's really, really, the study of history is so important. I know I hated history class when I was in school. Why do I need to learn about all these dead people? And because if you don't learn about dead people, we're going to end up with dead people. And the loss of God is purely apparent to me. And I'm not a preacher, but when you put Trump before God, you've got a problem. Don't come to me and say you're this love them all Christian. Praise the Lord, praise Jesus. You're not. And that's false witness. It really is. And that again is Proverbs 19:9. A false witness shall not go unpunished, and he that speaks the lies shall perish. It's very much what's going on right now. I've never experienced a presidential anything in my 46 years that has gone the way this one has. Excuse me. And it's where it's like no matter what the guy says, whether it's sexually accosting a woman or just kind of this. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I mean, again, I've seen him interviewed where they're actually showing him footage of him saying and doing something, his body language, his actions. And he's like, fake news, fake news. How long is it going to be fake news, man? It just doesn't, I don't get it. I mean, I really just don't get it. If that's what floats your boat, I guess it's what floats your boat. But to me, it's why? And, I can go over it a million times. I'm going to take a quick break here to push my home of Endure Entertainment. So enjoy.
Hi guys, I'm Lady Falana, CEO and founder of Endure Entertainment. When you think of clean entertainment, think of Endure Entertainment. When you think of Endure Entertainment, think of clean entertainment. The Endure Entertainment television personalities, we are the A-Team. We're more than just a team, we're family. Look at all of the different syndicated podcast directories we are on. Go ahead and download those apps so you don't miss our shows on the go. Endure Entertainment LLC started October 2021. Now we're in 17 countries outside of the United States. Featured in CBS, Fox, and NBC. Gospel Choice Music Awards nominated for Independent Broadcast Network of the Year. We do more than just TV. We also do virtual concert extravaganzas. Our last one this past January was off the chain. You can look at our shows, virtual concert, and TV 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at EndureEntertainment.live. Radio. Next coming up is going to be the radio station of the year on Endure Entertainment. Ever thought about having your own show, television, radio? Would you like to get some exposure with your radio edited version of your performing artistic abilities? Take a look at Endure Entertainment.
All right. Last thing I want to read out of this right here is basically what it boils down to in the song about a civil war, which really, realistically, no matter how you twist this around, we're looking at that as a possibility. I'm not, I hope not. And I'm not a conspiracy person. I know that everybody's saying, this and that was literally planted or whatnot. Listen, there's videotapes and everything else of this. If you don't believe the factual, actual evidence, and nobody in the FBI is working for a political side. Half the guys that went in that place could have been diehard Republicans for all you know. I mean, this is when do these lies become enough for you to stop and think for yourselves? It's we're born with free minds, and we have free will, but when you're in a group polarization and you develop the group think, you're never going to be in free will. Why did somebody kill? Why did so many of them drink from Jim Jones's Flavor Aid stash? 900 and some people died. Now, what's the difference if you think the January 6th insurrection was okay and people died and it's not Trump's fault? It's never going to be his fault, even though he was egged it on the whole time on his social media, and people died. People got hurt really badly. But the inherent issue there is if you're all for it and you're all for him, to me, as long as you keep promoting it, you're just as bad and you're just as guilty. You're in there because you're ignoring human life. And I don't really appreciate that in my space in this world. And praise God that I'm even still here, and praise God that I came back with a better brain than I left with. And all glory to God, man. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. It was purely God is why I'm here, and God's why I do the work I do. God's why I'm back in school at 46 years old, because my plan is to make a difference. My psychology work is with a concentration on substance abuse and so on. And I'm not going for a bachelor's degree. I'm going to get my master's and go from there. With at least my master's, I can do clinical work and things like that, which I really, that became my whole thing. It'd be easy for me to go back and go and do real estate and go and do, car stuff. It would be incredibly easy for me to do that. But I'm taking the hard path, and it's because of what he gave me. And that was the only thing that was really coming to my mind the whole time I was healing. It's like, no, it's not God forgive me just this one time. And then next time, God forgive me again. Next time, God forgive me again. And it's a never ending cycle. This time is the last time. And that was the last time. And I don't drink. I don't have triggers. I don't take drugs. I don't have cravings. And that can only come from God. I'm not saying that's going to happen with everybody that way, but I'm telling you, there's a way around this stuff that doesn't mean you have to sit there and be stuck to what everybody's telling you is one solution. There's always more. My solution was God, and it stays my solution, and that's the way it goes. So when he finishes towards the end of this song, all right, and this is from Axl Rose again. It says, "I don't need your civil war. It feeds the rich while it buries the poor. Your power hungry selling soldiers in a human grocery store." Man, that's 1991. We weren't in nearly the condition we're in right now, where it's so nonsensical. And I don't want to be morbid, but the more and more you promote this hate, and the more and more you sit back and be a bystander, the more and more people are going to get hurt, the more and more people are going to die. And for you to say not my fault is doing the exact same vanishing act that your leader chooses to do time and time again. So to me, that's going to finish me for this week. I appreciate you all very much. Those who watch, even those who don't watch, I guess I like you all too. I'm just teasing around, but I don't mean this to all be downtrodden at all. It really should be one love. It doesn't matter what side you're on. There is no Democrat or Republican in heaven. It's same as my dad once told me. There's no nobody's richer than one another in the cemetery. So if you want to be wealthy in this life and after this life, I know what it's like to die. If you ever want to hear about it, I can tell you. But again, as it says along the bottom, if you're in need, hurting, feeling suicidal, or experience substance abuse disorder, don't hesitate to call me directly. It is 336. That's a North Carolina area code, and that's not on there, right? 336-419-7894. And that's it for me, folks. And I will see you all next week. I want to thank Endure, Lady Falana, and of course, Corey Thomas. And I will leave you once again with Corey Thomas's book. I'm telling you, it changed my mind frame, and it's not beating you over the head with the Bible. It's really, really fitting in today's society and music. It's called Sound Advice. And I've usually got a copy right here, but I think I took it to my reading chair. I'm obsessed with the thing, man. It's that good. So here you go, and I'll see you all next week. Love to you all. Prayers and happy thoughts.
Author Evangelist Corey Thomas, a dedicated servant leader whose weapons are spiritual in nature and volatile in impact. Hot off the press, author Evangelist Corey Thomas's new book, Sound Advice, Music and the Battle for Your Mind, Body, and Soul. Matthew 5:13, ye are the salt of the earth, but if the salt has lost his flavor, wherewith shall it be salted? It's author Evangelist Corey Thomas's new book, Sound Advice, Music and the Battle for Your Mind, Body, and Soul. Purchase your copy to help maintain that flavor in your spiritual walk. This book is epic. It's sold on every major online bookstore, or go to CoreyThomasMinistries.com. I got my copy. Be sure to get yours. It's author Evangelist Corey Thomas's new book, Sound Advice, Music and the Battle for Your Mind, Body, and Soul. Get your copy today.